No matter where you come from, no matter where you're going, here's a place where you can take comfort in the knowing that whether if you come to stay a while or just passing through, this door is open to you. Come and let's be silent. Come and share a hug. Come, let's pray together. Come, love and be loved. From the blissed out to the turned out, from the pampered to the abused, this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. The God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you. If there's some kind of trouble or pain you're going through, know that you are not alone and someone cares for you as an individualization of divine.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's so good to see everyone. Thank you for being here, coming out, and taking your Sunday morning so that we can be together. Let's open with prayer. In this moment and in this place, we remember who we are. And we just say thank you. Thank you for this time together. Thank you for this opportunity to connect, to raise not only our consciousness, but raise the consciousness of the world as we become more and more clear on what it is that is ours to do. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. In the name and the love of all that is holy, we say, Amen. Amen. I invite you to turn off your cell phones, if you would, please, or silence them. And I have a message from Reverend Darlene before we start singing, and that is that she is on the upswing. And she is she is on the upswing. She is improving and plans to be here next Sunday. So we celebrate that. So let's all sing, I've Got a Feeling. Yeah, you can get up. Everything's gonna be all right. Oh, I've got a feeling everything's gonna be all right. I've got a feeling everything's gonna be all right. Be all right. Be all right. Be all right. Everything's gonna be all right. My life has purpose. Everything's gonna be all right. My life has purpose. Everything's gonna be all right. Be all right. Be all right. Be all right. Now a little more softly. Be still and know everything's gonna be all right. Be still and know everything's gonna be all right. Be so much. Now's the time when you can meet and greet, and so namaste to the folks around you.
And the people online.
Namaste. These hands can build a road, heal a heart and move mountains. These hands can change the world, for these are the hands of God. These hands can build a road, heal a heart and move mountains. These hands can change the world, for these are the hands of God. These hands can build a road, heal a heart and move mountains. These hands can change the world, for these are the hands of God. These hands can build a road, heal a heart and move mountains. These hands can change the world, for these are the hands of God. These are the hands of God. Oh, you all sound so very beautiful. We have a wonderful children's program here at Unity of the Blue Ridge, and it's time now for our children to go over and meet with their teachers, and we will bless them and send them on their way to their class. Aren't they beautiful? Yeah. Are we ready? Children and teachers, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divinity in you. Bye, kids. Have a great class. Bye, children. If you are a newcomer to Unity of the Blue Ridge and you are willing to raise your hand, then one of our ushers will bring some information to you that you can fill out. There is also a heart. If you'll take that off and place it on your person, up here would be recommended, then we will know to give you a special greeting. We want to take a moment and recognize that it's not just those of us in this room that are experiencing this service today, but we have lots of virtual viewers. And we have a team of people in the back that make all of that happen. And we want to say thank you to that team, and we also want to bless these people that are in our virtual audience. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divinity in you. We love them. We love them very much. And I hope you feel that blessing going towards yourself as well. We have a few announcements. First announcement is that the Children's Healthy Snacks donation, if you will bring something in that's on the slide, then there's a table in the Welcome Center, and you can place your donations there, and they are greatly appreciated. Also, Reverend Megan and Reverend Barbara Ann have their prayer class 101. It started last week. You may be able to still get in or make up some time on Zoom. Register online. It's a 4-week series. And we have Super Bowl Sunday. Out in the lobby, there's a really great display about, it says Super Bowl. You can't miss it. I promise you, you can't miss it if you go out there. And just bring canned goods for soups, and that would be greatly appreciated. And on February 9th, we will take all of those offerings and feed people who need it. And there's a lot of people that need it right now. Reverend Darlene will be back next Sunday. She'll be doing a series on flowing upstream, or the flow upstream, and we are looking forward to that. We have missed her so. I am so glad she'll be back. And our annual meeting is on Sunday, February 23rd at noon. So please be here if you're a member. If you can vote, members can vote on things that are happening around the church. So we're very grateful for that. And now we have Bobby, our board president, that is going to read our inspirational reading.
Thank you, Beth. Good morning, everyone. This morning, our inspirational reading is Shifting Out of Competing Intentions. So, no matter what is going on in your experience, and regardless of how you are caught up in relating to the issues at hand, you can free yourself of competing intentions the instant you remember your purpose. If you are upset because your partner is not willing to follow advice, ask yourself, right? Do they follow our advice? What is the real purpose in this situation? Your real purpose is not about getting your way or about being right. Your real purpose, the moment you shift into being the way, the truth, and the light of God, something in the outer changes. You discover that no one is against you, that all things are working together for your highest good, even people who appear to be in your way. Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby. And we have the privilege of having Pat Cardwell do special music for us today, and his wife, Laura Cardwell, will be bringing our message today, so I'm very excited about that. I think it's wonderful.
James Taylor's song called The Secret of Life. Well, the secret of life is enjoying the passage of time. Any fool can do it. There ain't nothing Nobody knows how we got to the top of the hill. Since we're on our way back down, might as well enjoy the ride. The secret of love is opening up your heart. Okay to be afraid, but don't let that stand in your way. 'Cause anyone knows love is the only road. Since we're only here for a while, we might as well show some style. Give us a smile. Isn't it a lovely ride? Sliding down and you're gliding down. Oh, try not to try too hard. It's just a lovely ride. Well, the thing about time is that time isn't really real. It's just our point of view. How does it feel for you in there? Einstein said he could never understand it all. Those planets spinning through space with a smile upon your face. Welcome to the human race. Some kind of lovely ride. Sliding down and you're gliding down, and you try not to try too hard. Oh, it's just a lovely ride. Isn't it a lovely ride? Sliding down and you're gliding down. Just try not to try too hard. It's a lovely ride. Well, the secret of life is enjoying the passage of time. All right.
I first met Laura when I came here. I guess I'd been here about a week and a half, and she's just one of those people that feels so warm and welcoming and joyful, and I so love you and appreciate you, and I'm so looking forward to hearing what you have to share with us, and you can tell us a few things about yourself as well, so come on up. Laura Cardwell.
Morning, y'all. Okay, first things first, I need glasses. And I need pages and pages and pages of notes. So for those of you that do not know who I am, I'm Laura Cardwell. And I am that guy's wife That's how most people here know me. They're like, oh, wait, Pat Cardwell, the one that plays music? You're his wife? That's me. I also have my own things, but I'll talk about those. So, I'm a board member here. I'm going into my second year of being on the board. You're welcome. It's the hardest job. I'm kidding. I love it. I love every minute of it. I have been at Unity I guess we've been here for 10 years. A little over 10 years. Pat is my brain. If you see me look at him, it's because he remembers all the things for us. I don't always remember very well, but when I first started in, about 15 years ago, I started in energy healing. At the time, I was not, I didn't know what energy healing was. And I actually was training in a modality that I did not know was energy medicine. I was a little shocked to find out I was learning energy medicine. And so at that time, my mentor at that time said, do you have a spiritual practice? And I said, yeah, I've meditated like 3 times in my life. And I had my chakras balanced when I was like 17. He said, that's great. You might want something more consistent. And I was like, oh, okay, like what? He was like, try church. I was like, ooh. So I did what any good person does. I went home and I Googled churches for people that don't like churches. And Unity's at the top of that list in case you Google it. I'm kidding, don't Google that. It's not true. But really, I was like, okay, I'd heard of Unity at the time. I'd heard really great things about it, and I was curious. I knew I wasn't going to go to any specific religious organization because I grew up Catholic, and I'm still recovering from that. So I looked it up, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go. And so I went to find Pat, who was upstairs, and I said, I've been researching churches online, because that's how you find a church, by the way. It's like you have to research it. You don't find it with your heart. That I did not learn until later. And Pat had the same idea. It was, synchronicities and angels and divine intelligence. Pat had also been thinking about coming to Unity and had been thinking about going that particular Sunday as well. So we ended up here. We've never left. We've been here the whole time. Sometimes they have to kick us out. Actually, in fact, I have a bed in the back. No, I'm kidding about that too. Don't tell Darlene. We knew that we were divinely called to come here, and that we have an inner voice that guides us where we need to go. And that's a little bit about what I'm going to talk about today. So if you guys probably don't know what I do in my outside of Unity life. I am a holistic business and transformational speaker, author, and coach. That's what I do with my life and my clients. And one of the things that I really focus on in that writing and that teaching, and especially with my clients, is purpose. What is purpose? What does it mean for us? How do we be on purpose? How do we live on purpose? And so today we're going to be talking about purpose as with a capital P, right? Our purpose, our soul purpose. And that we have a higher calling. We have something that's always calling us forward on our journey. It might be pulling us along. Sometimes it's pushing us to where we need to go. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the science of that, how we're wired for that, and then how we stay in alignment with that purpose so that we can be in service to something bigger than ourselves. So let's just start by defining purpose. What is purpose? When you think about the word purpose, what comes to mind? Often, the first thing that comes to mind is things that we do, right? So it could be a job, a career, a profession. Even in the spiritual realm, it could be about your calling, right? What you're here to do. It could be about following your passion. We're often encouraged to follow what lights us up. But the technical definition of purpose is the reason for which something is done or created, and for something to exist. So really, it's about the why. Now, we see that purpose in mission statements and visions of companies and organizations, similar to Unity. There's a why we are all here. That's the technical definition. But today I want to talk about more than just what we do and why we are here. I want to talk about our true purpose, which is really about who we're here to be. It's about being. It's about our consciousness and tending to the state of our consciousness. And then taking that being into service. How do we take that, who we are here to be, and align that with what we are here to do? Richard Rudd, who is the author of The Gene Keys, he was a student of Ra Uru Hu, who developed the Human Design System, or had a download for the Human Design System. Richard studied with him and then went on to write his own work called The Gene Keys, which is a modern interpretation of the I Ching, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But he talks a lot about purpose, because at the root, we're here to find our purpose. And he says that it's not about what we're here to do, so he's confirming what I said. Just in case you were wondering, I am right. It is about the quality of our consciousness. And when I heard that line, the first few times I had read it, and I've read a lot of his work, I kind of missed it. I was reading on. I was looking for something more, right? But I slowed down and I really read it again and again and again, that our purpose is about the quality of our consciousness and really contemplating what that means to me. It isn't about what I'm here to do. It's about the quality of who I am. So we're going to unpack that a little bit. I'm going to talk for a second. I'm a nerd. I'm just going to say I'm a nerd. I started off studying energetic kinesiology when I started that energy modality several years ago, 15 or more years ago. And in that energetic kinesiology, I actually focused on what's called applied neurology, because the brain is a fascinating place to study. And in that time, I really was studying how the electricity flows in the brain. That's what I was really learning. The brain is physical, it has neurons, it's chemical, it has neurotransmitters, and it's electrical. And most of the time in medicine, we deal with the physical and the chemical. But there's a lot that's going on electrically. And so remember, I didn't know I was doing energy medicine, right? I was just looking at the electricity of the brain at the time. It was news to me that it was more than just electricity, by the way. If it's news to you, welcome to the club. I think you're all here for a different reason, and when I studied that, I was focused on helping kids and adults with ADD, ADHD, learning differences, anxiety, and depression, which is pretty much everybody. Pretty much, right? So, and in that time, I really got fascinated with studying perception, how we perceive, how the brain perceives. What is perception? And then from that place, how does perception affect how we think and how we move emotions and how we feel, literally even all the way down to our physiology and our DNA. Perception is the background of all of that. How we perceive is literally who we become. And that was incredibly fascinating to me. And so in those studies, I came across a neurological pathway that no one was really talking about called the seeking system. In the whole healing of the brain, there was a lot of focus on primal pathways around fear and anxiety and overcoming fear and ways to open the heart. And those are really important things. But this pathway really slowed me down and made me stop and think about what it means to seek. So at a primitive level, we seek to find food, to find shelter. We seek for some other things. You can probably fill in the blanks there, but it's primal, it's primitive. And as this pathway moves up through the brain, so that's in the brainstem, and as it moves up into the more emotional areas of the brain, it becomes the pleasure and reward system. So now we begin to add emotional context to our seeking. And then even more than that, it's meant to be pleasurable. We're meant to feel that way. We're meant to feel good about seeking. But then as that pathway moves further up into our consciousness, into where our thinking brain, right? It becomes curiosity. It becomes our ability to open up to something new. It is literally the same pathway that asks us to seek deeper meaning. to go inward and find more to life than food and connection. So the primitive pathway that sends us out to find food is the same pathway that drives us to seek spiritual connection, to find sustenance on all levels. It never changes, it's the same pathway. Now during that, it shifts some things. So let's break that down. On its primitive level, at that primal level, the going to seek food, and then that emotional level, what is that food? That's, I'm hungry, right? I have a primal drive to eat. I like cake. I have context. I have cake in the kitchen. That's great, so I don't have to go to the store. I really like that cake because it's the same cake my grandmother made. So now I have emotional context to that cake. So now I really want to go get it, right? Now I really want to have it. So now I'm going to go to the kitchen and I'm going to get that cake and I'm going to make just one serving of that cake and I'm going to eat that cake, right? Like that all happens in our subconscious mind. It's really not very conscious. We have some thoughts, but it's mostly subconscious. And that all happens because we have this neurotransmitter called dopamine. And dopamine is a neurotransmitter of motivation. It's also a neurotransmitter of muscle coordination and reward, right? So what happens is we have that motivation. I'm hungry. I'm going to go get something to eat. We have muscle coordination. I'm going to be able to walk to the kitchen. I'm going to be able to make that cake. I might put some ice cream on it because I like that. I'm going to eat that cake. I'm going to lick the plate. All of the muscles it takes to do that. I'm going to put the cake away so I don't eat 2 pieces of cake, right? Like all the muscles, right? And then that reward. I get a little jolt of dopamine for a job well done. We get a special little jolt for sugar and fat. That's a side note, and that's, your body, that's survival, right? Like you ate the right thing, that's going to sustain you. We like that you did that. You get all that dopamine. But as that travels up into the more cognitive areas, it sends us out seeking. And it sends us seeking for things like connection to friends. It sends us seeking laughter and our favorite song and all of the things that send this cascade of warm connection, right? We add in some new neurotransmitters at that level, like oxytocin, which is the bonding agent or the bonding feeling, that warm feeling when something's right? Adds in serotonin, which is a mood stabilizer, makes us feel happy. So now we've got this reward and we feel happy and we feel connected. And so as those things cascade through us, we really expand in what we are here to be and what we're here to do. And then we move up into this more, so all of that, let me just slow down there and say, all that's external, right? Like in these levels, we're externally seeking, we're going outside of ourselves, we're looking for something. And that's okay, right? The problem, I'll just say the problem to that is that we can get caught up in external seeking. We can so the world today is really meant to stimulate dopamine. We live in a dopamine culture. We have dopamine fatigue. We have dopamine addiction. Every time your phone dings and you pick it up, that's that little we are the dogs being trained, right, to pick up our phone. I'm like, oh, my phone. And if you find yourself picking up your phone even without the sound, that's the result of dopamine. It's the scrolling through your emails, looking for a new email. It's looking for new likes on social media if you're on social media. It's all of that external reward. It's also seeking in our jobs and our careers. It's status, it's money. We get dopamine for those things, right? And we seek more of it. So we've got this external seeking that's happening. And it's speeding up. I know you've probably felt that in the world, but it's definitely speeding up. So it's our job. It's our job to activate the antidote to dopamine seeking, and that's inward seeking. That's where we take all of that beautiful urge of the surging of the different hormones and we go inward. We take them inward and we get curious. We go find our inner meaning. We go seeking for something more than all of the bells and whistles of our life, right? It's from that place that we start to activate a higher truth, a higher consciousness. This is where creativity and curiosity lead us to being able to observe the quality of our consciousness. Who am I here to be? Have I forgotten in this moment who I am meant to be? And I am stuck in a culture that's driven by dopamine, and dopamine is an energy of doing. Did I lose myself to the doing? And do I need to return and take a moment and question the quality of my consciousness? Who am I here? Who am I being in this moment? And then from that place of being, how am I bringing myself into service to something bigger than myself? We can get caught up in our own stories pretty easily. We can get caught up in our own dopamine adventure of the day. It's our responsibility to take a break, to take a breath, and to go inward. And when we do that, we activate a whole host of even greater neurotransmitters. We activate these higher brainwaves of consciousness. We have an expanded awareness of ourselves and others. And in that space, we actually become a healer. One of my resistance to being a healer for all the years, one of the reasons why I didn't want to use that word, is because I hated the feeling that I had to be the one that did it for you. It didn't feel good to have you come to me and say, I have lower back pain, can you fix it? It didn't feel good that that was on me. It felt like a lot of pressure. But also it felt like we were missing something, that we are literally designed to heal ourselves. We are beings of healing. Like the body knows what to do. So I really struggled with being a healer, because really what I was missing, what I was seeking, was that we are all our own healers. Sometimes we need help, and that's what a healer really is. They hold your hand on your journey. They guide you through. Sometimes they pull, sometimes they push. I'm a pusher, if anybody's ever worked with me. It's not so gentle sometimes, but it was really about the fact that because we have this system where if we go internal, if we go inward, if we connect to our source energy, then we can heal those things, right? What is ours to heal? And sometimes it's still a mystery and we don't know. You didn't do something wrong if it didn't get better, right? That's the other thing that I really struggled with in the healing realm is the spiritual gaslighting, that if you're still sick, you didn't really try very hard, right? Or your healer didn't try very hard. There's a lot of blame in that place, right? So I had resistance, and if you can tell by now, I have resistance to a lot of things. It's kind of probably how I roll. Ask my husband. So we have this place that we're being called, right? We have this map of who we're supposed to be, what we're supposed to be doing. And what we're really meant to be doing is cultivating a spiritual practice that gives us time in our day for us to evaluate, to be curious about our state of consciousness. Who am I being? How often during the day are you doing and just doing? And how often during the day are you taking a breath and saying, who am I being in this moment? We know it here in this moment, right? I forget it. I will forget it as soon as I walk off this stage. I teach it all the time, and this stage. You can tell I'm a speaker, right? This stage up here. I'll forget it when I walk off here. Not the first thing I go to do, I will forget who I am being, right? And that's why it's important that you have a spiritual practice. It's a practice. It's a returning. Practice is returning. And that's what every spiritual practice teaches us. It's not about the knowing or the doing. It's about returning to that quality of being, who you're being pulled to be. There is in his book, Rick Warren wrote the book, The Purpose-Driven Life. Probably many of you have read it. And throughout that book, Rick uses God and him in his verbiage, right? So the first time I read that book, I was younger. I had a really hard time with God and him. And so I'm going to give you a quote from his book, but I'm going to replace God and him with love, because that was easier for me to take in. When I read the whole book and replaced the word with love, it changed a lot of the context for me, because it's juicy. That book is juicy, but I had a lot of resistance. As I've said, I'm a resistor. So he says, if not to love, You will surrender to the opinions or expectations of others, to money, to resentment, to fear, or to your own pride, lusts, or ego. You were designed to worship love. And if you fail to worship love, you will create other things, idols, to give your life to. You are free to choose what you surrender to, but you are not free from the consequence of that choice. And it's a beautiful example, it's a beautiful quote of that, getting lost in that externalized seeking, all the little idols of our day. And the reminder that it's about coming back to who we are, who we be, the divine unfolding of purpose in ourselves, and then from that place, bringing who we be into service. That is what Dharma is. It's not the job you do, it is who you be while you do that job. And that you do that job in devotion to love, to something bigger than yourself. Devotion to being human and human in this time when being human is hard, and it's gonna be hard. It's always gonna be hard because we're designed to have struggle. It helps us to grow. Going back to Richard Rudd, in his book, The Genius Sequence, he talks about purpose as the essence of your humanity, your beautiful ordinariness, and your love of being alive. That your purpose really anchors in what you're here to be. And he talks about it being, he talks about it being rooted in earth energy, that our purpose aligns us with the rhythms of the earth energy. And that earth energy stabilizes us. In Chinese medicine, the earth energy, and in a lot of traditions, the earth energy represents our ability to be nourished. And so when we connect to that earth, the earth energy gives us what we need to manifest on this physical level. And so that's food, that's money, right? And so it's our physical manifestation of our lives. So we literally, the thing that we need to do is anchor our purpose in that earth energy so that we can be fed. That's what that is saying, that is where our real feeding comes from. As we begin to go deeper, we find that we have maps that take us there. So earlier I mentioned the I Ching, that in the ancient Chinese tradition, there is a sacred text that is one of the oldest texts that we know of. And it translates to the Book of Changes, and ultimately the sages of the time used nature to understand who we were meant to be as humans. This I Ching is a map to 64 archetypal expressions of who we're meant to be in this world. Each one of those 64 expressions has a shadow, something we're here to overcome, something we're here to walk through. The shadow is just something that helps you forget who you were meant to be so that you can return, so that you can get all the dopamine of returning. The gifts from that, going through those shadows, we begin to blossom into our genius, into the gift of who I am becoming, the gift of who I am meant to be. I gather my gifts and I bring them into service. I become a higher state of consciousness. I radiate from a higher state of consciousness. Last week, Megan spoke about being rooted in principles and rising in purpose. She talked about principles as universal truths that we can ground ourselves in. And I would say that that's the earth energy that stabilizes our purpose. And from that place, we can root down and let our roots drink from the wellspring of source to connect to who our truth is, our higher being, our soul nudging us along, checking in on our state of consciousness. When we do this, we become a clear vessel for love. We become a clean vessel for service. We become a gift. We radiate our light. We recalibrate our hearts, our thoughts, our emotions, our physiology, and even our DNA. We shift from wanting and needing externally to inner wisdom and knowing, to alignment with divine intelligence and divine timing, ease and grace. We become our purpose. So let's take that into a meditation. Take a moment to settle into your seat. If it feels good, you can allow your eyes to close. If not, gently find a soft focus in front of you and find your breath. Your breath, this place of inspiration. This place that we can always return to. Rest your feet. Rest your hands. Rest your heart. Slowly begin to breathe in and out of your nose. Let it expand your belly. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears. And just arrive in this present moment. With each inhale, imagine that you're drawing in light, pure, radiant energy. And with each exhale, that you're letting go of what no longer serves you, of the places where you've been caught up in what you are doing. And you are returning to being. Gently bring your awareness to your heart. If it feels good, you can place a hand there and feel the sense of warmth and connection that comes with all those beautiful neurotransmitters when we go inward. As you breathe, ask yourself, what is my heart seeking right now? Allow that question to float in your awareness without forcing an answer. Simply hold the question, what is my heart seeking? Notice if any words or images or feelings arise. Get curious. Find peace. And then allow whatever is there to be there. Simply acknowledge it without judgment. And if nothing seems to surface, that's okay too. Just be at peace in the inner knowing. Trust in your deep listening. And now imagine that light in your heart gently expanding throughout your chest and your shoulders and down your arms. Feel it radiating through your torso, down your legs, and all the way to the soles of your feet. This light connects you to the earth below and to the sky above, unifying you with the flow of divine energy. In this space of connection, invite your soul to speak. Maybe it's pulling you, maybe it's pushing you, maybe it gives you a single word, an entire phrase, or a flash of inspiration. What would your soul like to put into service? Who are you ready to be? Trust whatever arises. You might see it in your mind's eye or sense it in your body or simply know it as truth. Take a moment to breathe deeply into what has been revealed to you. Envision it shining in that inner light, becoming stronger and more radiant, filling your entire being. Breathe gratitude here for this connection. Gratitude for your unique gifts that you carry on the path that's unfolding before you. Even if it's not fully clear, know that divine wisdom is guiding you towards your purpose, your capital P purpose. Breathe. When you are ready, bring your awareness back to your physical surroundings. Gently wiggle your fingers and toes, roll your shoulders, smile. And feel the support of the seat underneath you. Taking a deep breath as you open your eyes. Look around, find something that grounds you, something that makes you arrive back into the space. Feel that gratitude in your heart. Allow it to stay with you with your eyes open. And then carry this sense of purpose and this inner alignment, this inner knowing of who you're here to be, and make the commitment to check in on your state of consciousness. Make a commitment to live on purpose.
I was so moved, I almost forgot to get back up and do the rest of my job. I would like to ask for the ushers and the chaplain to come forward. Barry is bringing up the prayer box. Barbara Ann will be praying with those of you who would like chaplaincy in Reverend Darlene's office. And together, let's say our prosperity blessing. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. I am now in perfect balance and flow with the universal tides of giving and receiving. Thank you, God, and so it is. Pat.
You can play the game, you can act out the part, though you know it wasn't written for you. Tell me, how do you stand there with your broken heart, ashamed of playing the fool? One thing can lead to another, doesn't take any sacrifice. Oh, father and mother, sister and brother, if it feels nice, don't think twice. Just shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be much better if you only will. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be fine if you only will. You can run, but you cannot hide. This is widely known. What did I plan to do with my foolish pride when I was all by myself alone? When I told my somebody the way that I feel, I could feel it beginning to ease. I know it's true what they say about that squeaky wheel. Lord, it's always getting the grease. Better to shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be so much better if you only only will do what I say. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be so much better if we only will. Out this time. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Keep it going. They say, in every life that the rain must fall, just like the pouring rain coming down. Make it rain. Make it rain. Make it rain. Love with love. Sunshine. Everybody, everybody, everybody. I can hear cats singing, can't y'all? Everybody, make it rain. Things are gonna work out fine if we only will. About this amazing band, y'all.
Wow. Thank you so much, Pat. Thank you, band. Thank you, amazing people in the booth. Thank you, Laura. And thank you for the loving energy that you all bring with you when you come into this room. So now it's time for our service to close. We always take it with us. And let's join hands and sing the peace song together. Let there be peace on earth with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. God as creator, brothers and sisters are we. everyone. Now listen more to the band as we